75, read the Bible in a year. Deuteronomy 14, 15, and 16. Deuteronomy 14. You are the children of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be people for his own possession, above all people who are on the face of the earth. You shall not eat any abominable thing. These are the animals which you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roebuck, the wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, and the chamois. Every animal that parts the hoof and has the hoof split into and chews the cud, among the animals you may eat. Nevertheless, these you shall not eat: of those that chew the cud, or of those who have the hoof split, the camel, the hare, and the rabbit, because they chew the cud but don't part the hoof. They are unclean to you. The pig, because it has a split hoof but doesn't chew the cud, is unclean to you. You shall not eat their meat. You shall not touch their carcasses. These you may eat. Of all that are in the water you may eat, whatever has fins and scales. You shall not eat whatever doesn't have fins and scales. It's unclean to you. Of all clean birds you may eat, but these are they of which you shall not eat: the eagle, the vulture, the osprey, the red kite, the falcon, the kite of any kind, every raven of any kind, the ostrich, the owl, the seagull, the hawk of any kind, the little owl, the great owl, the horned owl, the pelican, the vulture, the cormorant, the stork, the heron after its kind, the hoopoe, and the bat. All winged creeping things are unclean to you. They shall not be eaten. Of all clean birds you may eat. You shall not eat of anything that dies of itself. You may give it to the foreigner living among you who is within your gate, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to a foreigner. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. You shall surely tithe all the increase of your seed, that which comes out of the field year by year. You shall eat before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses to cause his name to dwell, the tithe of your grain, of your new wine, and of your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and of your flock, that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. If the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry it because the place which the Lord your God shall choose to set his name there is too far from you, when the Lord your God blesses you, then you shall turn it into money, bind up the money in your hand, and shall go to the place which the Lord your God shall choose. You shall trade the money for whatever your soul desires, for cattle, or for sheep, or for wine, or for a strong drink, or for whatever your soul asks of you. You shall eat there before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. You shall not forsake the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no portion nor inheritance with you. At the end of every 3 years you shall bring all the tithe of your increase in the same year, and shall store it within your gates. The Levite, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, as well as the foreigner living among you, the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates shall come, and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hand which you do.
Deuteronomy chapter 15. At the end of every 7 years you shall cancel debts. This is the way it shall be done. Every creditor shall release that which he has lent to his neighbor. He shall not require payment from his neighbor and his brother, because the Lord's release has been proclaimed. Of a foreigner you may require it, but whatever is yours is with your brother, your hand shall release. However, there will be no poor with you, for the Lord will surely bless you in the land which the Lord your God gives you for an inheritance to possess. If only you diligently listen to the Lord your God, his voice, to observe to do all this, which I command you today, the Lord your God will bless you, as he promised you. He will lend to many nations. You will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow. You will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. If a poor man, one of your brothers, is with you within any of your gates in your land which the Lord your God gives you, you shall not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother, but you shall surely open your hand to him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need, which he lacks. Beware that there not be a wicked thought in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and your eye be evil against your poor brother, and you give him nothing. And he cry to the Lord against you, and it be sin to you. You shall surely give, and your heart shall not be grieved when you give to him, because it is for this thing that the Lord your God will bless you in all your work, in all that you put your hand to, for the poor will never cease out of the land. Therefore I command you to surely open your hand to your brother, to your needy, and to your poor in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you and serves you 6 years, then in the 7th year you shall let him go free from you. When you let him go free from you, you shall not let him go empty. You shall furnish him liberally out of your flock, out of your threshing floor, and out of your winepress, as the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall give to him. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Therefore I command you this thing today. It shall be, if he tells you, I will not go out from you, because he loves you and your house, because he is well with you, then you shall take an awl and thrust it through his ear to the door, and he shall be your servant forever. Also, to your female servant you shall do likewise. It shall not seem hard to you when you let him go free from you, for he has been double the value of a hired hand, and he has served you 6 years. The Lord your God will bless you in all that you do. You shall dedicate all the firstborn males that are born of your herd and of your flock to the Lord your God. You shall do no work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shall shear the firstborn of your flock. You shall eat it before the Lord your God year by year, in the place which the Lord your God choose, you and your household. If it has any defect, is lame or blind, or has any defect whatever, you shall not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. You shall eat it within your gates. The unclean and the clean shall eat it alike, as the gazelle and as the deer. Only you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it out on the ground like water.
Deuteronomy 16. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover to the Lord your God. For in the month of Abib the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. You shall sacrifice the Passover to the Lord your God of the flock and the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. You shall eat unleavened bread with it 7 days, even the bread of affliction, for you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, that you may remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt all the days of your life. No yeast shall be seen with you in all your borders 7 days. Neither shall any of the meat which you sacrifice the first day at evening remain all night until the morning. You may not sacrifice the Passover within any of your gates which the Lord your God gives you, but at the place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell in. There you shall sacrifice the Passover at evening, at the going down of the sun, at the season that you came out of Egypt. You shall roast and eat it in the place which the Lord your God chooses. In the morning you shall return to your tents. 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord your God. You shall do no work. You shall count for yourselves 7 weeks. From the time you begin to put the sickle to the standing grain, you shall begin to count 7 weeks. You shall keep the feast of weeks to the Lord your God with a tribute of a freewill offering of your hand, which you shall give according to how the Lord your God blesses you. You shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you, your son, your daughter, your male servant, your female servant, the Levite who is within your gates, the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow who are among you. in the place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. You shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt. You shall observe and do these statutes. You shall keep the feast of booths 7 days after you have gathered in from your threshing floor and from your winepress. You shall rejoice in your feast. You, your son, your daughter, your male servant, your female servant, the Levite, the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow who are within your gates. You shall keep a feast to the Lord your God 7 days in the place which the Lord chooses, because the Lord your God will bless you in all your increase and in all the work of your hands, and you shall be altogether joyful. 3 times in a year all of your males shall appear before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses, in the feast of unleavened bread, in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of booths. They shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the Lord your God's blessing, which he has given you. You shall make judges and officers in all your gates, which the Lord your God gives you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice. You shall not show partiality. You shall not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. You shall follow that which is altogether just, that you may live and inherit the land which the Lord your God gives you. You shall not plant for yourselves an Asherah of any kind of tree beside the Lord your God's altar, which you shall make for yourselves. Neither shall you set yourself up a sacred stone, which the Lord your God hates.
You know, reading this, I get the feeling that we're being reminded again, like we've read this before. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking, they're about to enter a promised land, and he wanted to remind them to take care of one another when they go in this promised land. You know, there should be no poor among you. Take care of yourself. Take care of your poor. Take care of the widow. Take care of those less fortunate. Even to the point where you forgive debts. What an incredible idea of community and relationship among one another in this new land that he's about to give them. And he's reminding them, given the fact that they so easily can forget, as we read yesterday.
Yeah, again, we're looking at the relationships here, how God wants us to have relationships that everybody is taken care of, that there's no widow, no poor person, no servant. The Levites are all taken care of. And he put things in place to say, you know, this is what you need to do to make sure that they're taken care of. So you can see that from the beginning, God was looking out for everyone, whether they're rich or poor. He was looking out for them.
Yeah. And just a reminder always, follow my statutes, follow my ordinances. Not because they're rules and regulations to follow, but because I want to take care of you and you take care of each other.
And there's a lot of laws and that they had when it came to eating. There's a lot of dietary laws that were put in place. And one of the things was don't cook, I think it was a goat in its mother's milk, mm-hmm. or a lamb in its mother's milk, something like that. And now today in the with the Jewish people, they actually keep milk and meat separate. They eat it at different times so they don't touch. So they put like a kind of made it larger just to protect themselves from breaking that law.
Okay.
And to an extreme. And I remember when I was in university, I ate at a Jewish restaurant on campus at York University, and I was young. I was 18 years old. I didn't know anything about the Jewish customs, but they had the best, I guess it was kosher hot dogs there. And I just loved them, but I really loved cheese on my hot dog. And I didn't understand why there was no cheese in the restaurant.
Oh, no.
And being an 18-year-old, college student, I thought, well, I'll bring my own cheese in since they don't have cheese, and I'll just, slip it on there while I'm eating. So I don't know if I was by myself or with somebody. I think I was with somebody else. And I sat in the restaurant and I got my food, and then I had a little package there with me. And I put cheese on my hot dog. And the waitress came and she screamed, "Oh my goodness!" And then she took my plate, and then I heard her go and break it in the back, broke the plate. because I had mixed cheese.
And
I had
milk
mixed
product.
a milk product with meat,
Oh no.
not realizing that that was something that wasn't allowed in a Jewish restaurant and in the Jewish faith. So I learned a lesson that day. But I also heard that there's a lot of Jewish houses that even have 2 kitchens to keep things separate when
Wow.
they're cooking. So those are things that are taken to an extreme to try to stay within this rule that they had interpreted from God.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. We can get judgmental and say you're following it too strictly, but God gave them these commands and ordinances because they were to be set apart and different.